So it's finally time for a comic review. I haven't done one of these in a long time. But when we get a new Two-Face arc, how can I resist? For those who are new to the channel, Two-Face is not only my favorite Batman villain, but my favorite fictional character, period. I've certainly done my fair share of Two-Face videos in the past. Anyway, I honestly wasn't expecting another Two-Face story this soon. It's only been 2 years, fittingly enough, since the last one. My own worst enemy from All-Star Batman. I reviewed that one too. If you want to see that, a link is in the description. Not too long ago, I said that Harvey Dent gets pretty overlooked in the comics these days, but that may not really be true. He had a weak run during the New 52, but it might be over now. Let's hope so anyway. So, Deface, just recently published across Detective Comics 988 to 993, was written by James Robinson, while one half was penciled by Segovia and the other by Carmine Giandomenico. 2 artists. Are they doing this on purpose? Keep in mind that there will be spoilers in this video. I'm not going to spoil the entire thing, like for example I won't talk about the ending, but if you don't want to know anything about the story, then don't watch anymore. In the story, Batman stumbles upon the corpse of Carl Twist, a notorious terrorist planner. His career was to plan terrorist plots for terror groups too dumb to think of any themselves. So I guess that's the thing. The Dark Knight discovered that before Twist died, he was working on a diabolical new scheme for Cobra. Cobra is back and they're planning a series of terror attacks in Gotham by Twist's design. Batman is unable to get his hands on these plans though, as Carl Twist's hideout is burned to the ground by Firefly, or rather 2 Fireflies. Anyway, eventually Batman realized who killed Twist and hired the 2 Fireflies to torch his place. Batman's old pal turned arch foe, Two-Face. But why did Two-Face do this? Is he working for or against Cobra? Turns out it's neither, and it wasn't actually Two-Face who did it. It was Harvey Dent. Dent killed Carl Twist. Twist was Harvey Dent's last case as DA. Harvey was gonna nail the bastard and end his terror-selling business. But corrupt cops tampered with the evidence and Twist thus walked scot-free. Harvey could never let it go, and now when Twist is back in Gotham, he finally sees his second chance. To Two-Face's surprise, Harvey wants Twist dead, and far be it for Two-Face to deny a man some killin'. However, afterwards, Two-Face realized something. Harvey's hands were now tainted. Harvey Dent, the noble white knight, had committed a murder. This naturally messes up Two-Face's fixation on duality. He's no longer half evil and half squeaky clean. Two-Face doesn't want this information to come out, and so decides to protect Harvey's reputation by drawing all of the attention to himself, making it seem as if he did it, not Harvey. So, is it getting confusing yet? But, by destroying all the evidence and misleading Batman, Two-Face has now accidentally helped Cobra. They're free to proceed with their wicked plans. Since it was all because of Harvey, it will be on him, even further tainting his soul. Two-Face is in a bit of a jam here, ain't he? What's a binary rogue to do? Well, he sees no other way out but to confess the whole mess to Batman, and then help him stop Cobra. I won't go any further than that. So, yeah. What a strange and convoluted story. It's almost comical. I gotta say though, I find this take on Two-Face to be pretty interesting. He actually cares about Harvey, and his obsession with being half evil and half good is something new. Usually Two-Face just wants to be rid of Harvey, so that he can be completely evil. But with his obsession with twos, that doesn't really make sense. This Two-Face really goes all the way with the two theme. He goes so far, he actively tries to keep Harvey pure. And as for Harvey killing Twist, that feels like something I'd be against. Like Two-Face in this story, I also want Harvey to be pure and good. Otherwise you lose the split between good and evil, the Jekyll and Hyde motif. While I'm not too crazy about Harvey killing, I can honestly let it slide here. Carl Twist was a real bastard, responsible for countless terror attacks. How many people have died because of his plans? The man deserved to die, and I can understand Harvey's frustration. Harvey had him, but then he walks free because of corruption. I won't say I'm 100% on board with it though, but it also doesn't bother me. I was more bothered with Harvey's cowardice in my own worst enemy. The team up with Batman and Two-Face taking on Cobra is just awesome to see. It feels like a Brave and the Bold story. Batman sometimes teamed up with his villains in those issues, but it never happened with Two-Face. Well, now it has. This should have been a Brave and the Bold comic. It's kinda funny what an action hero Two-Face is here. In their fight with Cobra, Harvey basically jump around and kick ass like John McClane. Also, one of his pistols is a 6-shooter. That's new and kinda weird. With all of that said though, I would have to say that this story does feel a bit meh. It's just another generic terrorist plot, and man is Cobra boring here. He's so forgettable I can't even remember if he himself actually appeared in the story, or if it was just his goons. The fun and wacky take on Two-Face is what completely saves everything and makes the comic enjoyable. If it weren't for him, it would have been a total snooze fest. I did also like the two Fireflies though. Surprisingly, neither of them is Garfield Lynch. One is Ted Carson, the second Firefly, and the other is a new character, a female Firefly named Bridget Pike. I think she's a Firefly from the TV show Gotham. Anyway, here she's a wannabe supervillain and Ted's protege. What's interesting here is that the two of them are portrayed as loser villains, B-listers dreaming of becoming big shots. In that sense, they're more reminiscent of Garfield's old partner, Killer Moth. I like this take on Carson and Pike. It fits, and sets them apart from the psychotic and far more dangerous Garfield. I'd love to see a story where the two run into him. How would that go? I'm sure it wouldn't end well for them. Crazy old Garfield. Where the hell is he, by the way? I don't keep up well with modern comics. Is he dead or just locked up in Arkham or something? One common complaint I hear about this story is that Batman talks too much in it. Well, I'm used to reading all Silver and Bronze Age Batman comics, and he's a real chatterbox in those, so it didn't bother me. In fact, I may not even have noticed it if I hadn't seen those complaints first. In conclusion, Deface is not one of the greatest Two-Face stories out there, but it is a fun and interesting one. I do recommend it if you're a fan of Two-Face, but if you don't really care too much about the old coin flipper, then I'd say it's a pass. Besides Harvey, it's a pretty basic, by-the-numbers, been-there-done-that Batman comic. As for me reviewing more new Batman comics, I will do the Scarecrow miniseries Kings of Fear as soon as it's completed. That will be sometime early next year, January or February I think. I'm really looking forward to that because there are so few good Scarecrow stories, and it's penciled by freaking Kelly Jones. I know everyone don't like him, but I do. Anyway, as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.